Hey, what's up, guys? So, if you can't tell by the title already, what we're doing right now is just kind of adjusting the starter prototype decks to what I think would be a little bit of a stronger deck plan. Now, who am I to say what's a stronger deck or whatnot? So, I've been playing the game for a little over a month now. I'm probably one of the top 5 to 10 people who have the most time played in this game because I've been playing a lot on TTS, Tabletop Simulator. And these are just kind of my thoughts of where I would put some cards in the deck and how cards have played out from the matches I've done. So the cards in front of me right now are the 8 cards in the water starter deck that I would probably take out. So starting with Eruption. Eruption in this deck, it's a burn card, so it deals basically 3 damage to your opponent for 2. If they have a fire Elestral or fire enchant Elestral, it's going to do 1. It's not this deck's plan. This deck's more of kind of a mid-range, not necessarily stall, but sticky board state kind of deck. So we're taking the Eruption out. We're taking Pandora's Box out because this card, although it's very good when it's useful, a lot of the time it is a dead card, meaning that it doesn't really get a chance to do anything. Now, this card's great against like the win deck that likes to search a lot of cards, but in general, Pandora's Box is a great card to have in a sideboard, not in your main deck. So while it's a good card because it's so specific, I generally don't think it should be in the main deck. Circle the Sky. This card is hit or miss. You can play it, it's perfectly fine playing it, but because there's only one of it, it's not a super consistent card to use. It is great to try and get out like a Majesty early if you play like Sluggle into Poseidon into Circle the Sky to Nexus off Poseidon again. That's good, but because there's only one, it's not super consistent, and I don't really like that it's a one off. If you're going for that strategy, you would run 3, obviously, but we can't consistently go for that strategy with this deck, so we're just going to take it out, in my opinion. I think we can get a more consistent card in. Krakatuga, you don't need to take this card out. I'm only taking it out because I think we might get some better use out of the other cards I'll show you in a second that I'm replacing these guys with. But Krakatuga, you can keep in the deck, and you just keep one of these cards that I'm about to reveal that I'm putting in the deck in place of these instead of it. Cinders, these cards are great, but because there's not enough mill strategy, and there's no mill strategy in this deck, if you don't know what mill is, it's removing cards from your opponent's deck or your deck into your underworld directly. So Cinder basically mills your opponent 3 cards, forces them to put 3 cards from the top of the deck to their underworld. It's not super great because we only have 2 Cinders and the only cards in the deck that do that, so we're going to take them out, even though they are solid cards for what they do. And Crackhead, I've really like the design of Crackhead, but with the way the game is paced, a 2 attack, 2 defense card with this ability doesn't do enough, and it just generally will be your opponent plays basically any Elastral, kills the Crackhead, and then whatever Crackhead was stopping will just attack anyway. So we're taking the Crackheads out. In place of them, from the additional cards we get, we're going to be replacing Crackheads with Mestations. They are 1/6 bodies, so they are you play them in defense and they just stop any other 1 drop from attacking you directly because your all the other 1 drops have 5 attack. Now a Sorlet could get past Station, but Necrof won't, and all the other 1 drops won't have near enough stats by themselves to get past Station. And Station can become until end of turn a 6/1, thus allowing you to attack over any other 1 drop. So on turn 1 you can play in defense position. If you're going second, you play to attack, use the ability, destroy what they have on board potentially. So Station's very strong. Combining with Station, we're going to replace our Cinders with Galaxies. So Galaxy is basically a 5/2, and if you have Galaxy in play and Station in play, it's a 5/2 and a 6/1. These two pair really well together, and a lot of water cards have a lot of high defense stats, like Glauby or Sluggle or Aphros, that all would be good options for Galaxy to be in play with. Speaking of Aphros, we're going to replace our Eruption with an Aphro. So we have 3 Aphros. It's going to give us a lot of draw power. So we'll have 3 Aphros in the deck with our Poseidons to do a lot of Nexus stuff, with our Atlantis to draw a bunch of cards when we need to. We're going to get that 3rd Foamy because we need those Foamies. Like 3 Foamies makes it drawing Foamy super consistent, super useful. And then the last 2 cards we're going to do are Ambrosia, because Ambrosia is just a really good consistent card. And again, if you do want to play that Krakatuga, I would say just don't worry about the Ambrosia, or don't worry about the Aphros and play basically two Ambrosias, Krakatuga and Aphros, and Krakatuga, or you play no Krakatuga, Aphros, and two Ambrosias. I think this package makes the water deck much more consistent and a little bit stronger. But you could leave in those eruptions, Krakatuga, and stuff for that surprise burn, hit you directly kind of mechanic. But I think it's honestly hitting someone surprise eruption is kind of fun, but I don't think it's consistent enough that we want to put in this deck. So those are my thoughts. That's what I would replace in the water deck. I'm gonna do every other deck. You'll see them come out over the next couple days. But water, I think, has the most cards that I'd replace because water was the least focused on the baseline. But these cards are gonna make it so much more consistent, in my opinion. You don't have to follow my opinion. I'm just trying to give a little bit of my thoughts and ideas out there. And if your pet card, if you really like Kraken, play the Kraken. You don't need to follow my instructions, and the goal is to make the deck how you want to make it. And worst case scenario, if you're playing a best of three and you need one of these cards that you don't want to play directly, you can, in the best of three, swap the cards out on round 2 and 3. So that's my thoughts on water. I hope that helps some of you. You don't have to take my word as gospel. I'm not out here to force my opinions on you guys. These are just my thoughts. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for liking and subscribing. It boosts my ego, so to say. And Dan tweeted me the other day or last night, which kind of makes me a little like, oh, who's watching me now? Because I was used to, the little Discord people that I've been playing with the past month and a half. But I appreciate all your support, guys. And thank you so much. And if you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate a subscription. It's free, helps out the community, helps out me. Go check out all the other community members like Moxie, Jay Johnny, Moolah, Eagle the Duck. They're all great channels. Go check them out too and give them a subscription. Just help the community grow. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video when I'm going to go over fire. You guys have a good one. Peace.